Logan stopped in his tracks, untangled himself from Melanie's grip, and returned to us. Drew placed a hand on the small of Melanie's back and the other on the redhead's back and walked them away from us. Lil, drop it. You know Melanie. She's always like that. He looked at his sister pleadingly. It was obvious he was uncomfortable. Yeah, I'm aware that your beloved girlfriend is a bitch, but today she just reached the next level of animosity. It's okay, Lily, I said. You know what? I don't feel well. I'll go back to our room. See you both later. I got up and tried to walk away. Logan caught my arm and stopped me. Definitely now, I had the strong feeling that I wanted to slap him. Stay. I'll go, he said. I refused to look at him and yanked my arm from his grip. Without another word, I sat back at the table. Where are my pancakes? I ordered them a long time ago, I said, trying to change the subject. Neither Lily nor Kate had said a word since the little exchange between Logan and me. Lily only looked at her brother, and after a minute, I heard Melanie's voice again. So, Logan had returned to her. Kate was studying me. I smiled at her, and finally, the waitress came with our orders. We ate in silence and left the diner shortly after we finished. In the car, we chatted about some silly stuff just to fill the air. I thought back to the brief encounter with Logan. He was so damn confusing. I couldn't deal with all of this, with the emotions he was stirring in me. I needed to stay focused on my studies. I guessed that in the end, my only option would be to ignore him. It would save my heart and my mind. I would be a good friend to Lily, but not to her big brother. He hadn't stopped Melanie from harassing me. He hadn't told her she was wrong, but maybe his silence made perfect sense. Maybe it was because he felt some attraction toward me, and he felt guilty about it. Of course, if he wasn't attracted to me, he wouldn't have come on to me in the bathroom like he did last night. But she was his girlfriend. He loved her. So I needed to let it go, and I did. If I said that I didn't know or hear anything about Logan and his friends, I would be lying. He was everywhere, and so were his closest friends, Drew Milton and Tim Wallace. They all played football. They were the stars of the team and the public's favorites. Logan was known as a kind and loyal guy. He was smart and had good grades. Also, he was always with Melanie. Some girls tried to break them apart, but they weren't successful. He never cheated. Until me, I guess. It didn't make me feel special. I felt dirty and hurt. Drew, on the other hand, was a player. He didn't date anyone, but I heard rumors that he had a new girl at every party. He had the reputation of being a womanizer and was perfectly fine with it. Girls loved him. They wanted to sleep with him, even if it meant only a one-night stand. I overheard one girl talking with her friends. She called Drew the god of sex. Maybe, but I didn't intend to find out for myself. He might be beautiful and hot, but I wanted a relationship in the future, not a one-time fling. Tim was a mystery to me. He was known as a smart and witty guy. Sometimes he looked like a jester among his friends, but he got Kate hooked, and I wanted to know him better. I hadn't had the chance to get introduced to him yet, but he was the only one of this trinity with whom I wanted to make friends. My first 2 months in college were a total whirlwind. I studied harder than I ever had before. Everything was new to me, but at the same time, I was excited to learn more. Studying English literature was my #1 priority when I first thought about going to college, and so I made it my top priority while I was there. I didn't know what I wanted to do when I graduated, but I still enjoyed being there and gaining new knowledge. I was busy with my studies, so I didn't have much time to think about Logan Jones and any drama surrounding him. Surprisingly, it was easy to avoid running into him on campus. Of course, I would see him and his friends in the hallways, but I made sure to stay out of their sight. That's what mattered to me. We were taking different courses with different majors, but he happened to be my roommate's brother. During this time, Lily, Kate, and I became close. I explained to Lily that after what Melanie had said about me, I felt uncomfortable around her and Logan. She seemed to understand, so she always gave me a heads up when he wanted to see her. I was out of our room at those times and started to feel more and more at peace. I didn't want to pretend around him, so it was more comfortable this way. I guess it was like that for both of us after our moment at the fraternity house. Lily and Kate went to several parties, but I never joined them. I made excuses. They tried to persuade me, but eventually they gave up. When they were at the parties, I stayed in Kate's room. Her roommate, Nina, was a really nice and smart girl. She was nerdy, but in a cute way. I liked her, and I guess because of me, she and Kate were able to find common ground. My life was getting back on track, and I was happy about it. Those first 3 days took too much from me. I was scared because I'd never before felt something so strong with a guy I'd only just met. I didn't like the feeling, but I was aware that it was still there. I needed to remember that Logan was in a relationship with Melanie. I didn't even understand what it was between us, and especially what I was to him. I reminded myself of this over and over again. It was working. Because when one of my classmates, a guy named Rob, approached me and started chatting with me, I got the feeling that I enjoyed his attention. A short time after that, he became my study partner. Rob was a sweet, kind, and trustworthy guy. I liked being with him, having the opportunity to talk to a cute guy without feeling intimidated by his presence. He wasn't confusing, and he gave me much-needed comfort. So when he invited me to have dinner with him, I agreed without hesitation. Rob was exactly what I needed. For now, after our second date, we kissed. It was good. It didn't leave me speechless or give me any tingles, but I convinced myself that it was what I wanted and, most importantly, needed. Kate told me that Rob was annoying. I argued with her a lot about it, so she just dropped the subject, and I was grateful for that. The time grew nearer to the first game of the season. The first home game, actually. Everyone was talking about it and their expectations for our star quarterback and his squad. Ugh, those days, Logan was everywhere, but I was happy that I was still managing to avoid him. A party at the fraternity house was announced to be the last before the game. The game was scheduled for next Saturday. In the meantime, the next party was already planned for after our team's win. That our team would win wasn't even up for discussion. It was taken as a sure thing. At the end of the second month of school, I had been together with Rob for almost 3 weeks, so I started thinking that it was time to take our relationship to the next level. I wanted to have sex, but still, I hesitated. Even when Kate and Lily went to the fraternity house for this last party before the game, Rob and I only got as far as petting. I didn't let things go further with him. Now he was snoring right beside me in my bed while I lay wide awake. I started to think that my relationship with Rob was a huge mistake. He was a good friend to me, but an absolutely unsuitable boyfriend. We didn't click. Hell, I clicked with Logan the first second our eyes met. Why did I need to think about that asshole at a time like this? Shit. It was because he was still there, in my mind, and my thoughts. I glanced at my bedside table. It was already 2 a.m. Fuck. I hadn't gotten any sleep at all, and right now I needed to wake Rob up. The girls would probably be back around 4 a.m., so I wanted him out before they returned. Hey, Rob, open your eyes. You need to get going already. I nudged his shoulder lightly. Becca. I want to stay, Rob groaned and tried to kiss me. I rolled off the bed and stood there only in my panties. Seriously, move. I warned you about it. Lily and Kate always stay in this room, and they will come back from this stupid party. And soon. I put on my jean shorts and a white t-shirt. Since it was the middle of the night, I didn't care what I was wearing. Fine. He was angry. I was thinking about what to do with our relationship. He was my friend, and I didn't want to lose him. In a few minutes, I walked him out of our dormitory. Since most of the people were at the party, I was able to sneak him in and out without a problem. I stayed with him for a little longer. He pressed me against his car, and we kissed. He tried to ignite passion in me, but I felt numb. I responded to his caresses with laziness. I felt sick to my stomach because I was disgusted with myself. Using my peripheral vision, I saw a big car pulling into our parking lot. It was a dark-colored SUV, but I couldn't see the car brand or the driver because it was dark. The SUV parked right beside Rob's car and came to a stop. Rob stepped away from me, looking at the vehicle. What is he doing here? He sounded surprised and annoyed at the same time. Who? I asked, because I honestly didn't know. I turned around to look at the car more carefully. Before Rob had time to answer, the driver's door opened and Logan Jones jumped out. He wore a frown on his face and was looking straight at us. As I watched Logan approaching us, I realized that I was happy to see him. Even the sight of him sent shivers and tingles all over my body. I almost forgot how gorgeous he was. Tonight, he was wearing a blue shirt and dark blue jeans with white Adidas sneakers. His hair had become a little longer and was a mess, as if he had run his hands through it too many times. He stopped right before Rob and me with his hands in his pockets. Suddenly, Rob hugged me by my waist and pulled me closer. Why was he acting like an overprotective bodyguard? Becca, I need your help. Can you come with me back to the fraternity house? Hey, Jones, I admire you on the field, but you're talking to my girlfriend without even acknowledging me. So maybe you can back off. We were in the middle of something if you hadn't noticed. Rob tightened his grip. Was he jealous? Logan sighed but looked him straight in the eyes. Hey, dude, I don't know your name, but I advise you to get lost. I have a bigger problem on my mind right now, and I don't have the time or desire to talk to you a second longer than I need. Logan's gaze returned to me. He looked sad. I could tell. Becca, please. It's Lily. And Kate. They're both so drunk. And Melanie? Shit. I will go with you, I interrupted him, mostly because I would do anything for Kate and Lily. They were too important to me. The second reason why I didn't let him finish was Melanie. I saw the bitch in the hallways, and she always gave me a hard look or a glare. I wasn't interested in her doings at all. I turned to Rob, and his hands dropped from my waist. The confusion was written all over his face. I kissed his cheek, whispered not to worry, and followed Logan to his car. It was the black Range Rover. I had never asked about his car and hadn't seen him driving, so I was a little in awe. He opened the door for me, and after I was inside, he walked around and climbed into the driver's seat. I started to feel anxious at how very serious Logan was. What had happened at this party? So, is that guy the reason why you weren't around? I visited Lil a few times, but you were never there. Mostly, I lied. Okay. We fell silent, but it wasn't uncomfortable. Soon, he parked the car by the fraternity house's back door. There was loud music, and people were on the front lawn. Some were lounging near the pool in the back. Logan was the first to exit the car and came to my side. As he fixed his gaze on me, I noticed his eyes widen. He quickly went to open the back door and retrieved something from the back seat. He handed me his bomber jacket. I raised my eyebrows in surprise. Ugh. Logan, why do I need your jacket? Because I don't think you'll be comfortable with every guy in this house staring at you. I followed his gaze and cursed. I had forgotten that I wasn't wearing a bra, and now my full breasts were on display. I quickly grabbed his jacket and put it on. Logan was smiling. Not that I didn't enjoy the view, though. He extended his hand to me. I ignored it, jumped out of his car, and stood before him with my arms crossed. Don't. I'm only here because of Lily and Kate. If it weren't for them, this would be the last place on earth where I'd want to be. I could drive you there. Don't. You should go and find your girlfriend. I don't know what has happened here, and honestly, I don't want to. Didn't you come to me for my help? Now you can go and deal with your issues. I'll manage here. I walked out of the room, and he didn't follow me. Good to know where his priorities were. I reached the second floor and now stood in front of the door to Logan's room. Of course, I knew where it was. My memories of our moment started to flood my mind. I shook my head, trying to clear my thoughts. I exhaled deeply and entered the room. So, you were his backup plan? I heard Drew's voice. Lily was asleep on Logan's bed, and Drew sat on the floor, leaning his back against it. I guess so. How long has she been sleeping? 30 minutes, I guess. Can you drive? I looked him up and down. He didn't seem drunk to me. Yes. What about Logan? He left to find Melanie. Will you help me bring Lily and Kate back to the dorm? Fucking idiot, Drew cursed under his breath and stood up. Let's go. He quickly lifted Lily from the bed and walked downstairs with her in his arms. He loaded her into his Lexus, and then Tim brought Kate to the car. Both girls continued to sleep soundly in the back seat while I sat in the front. We took off from the fraternity house. Tim didn't come with us. Drew was silent, and I was grateful for that. This night became even weirder than I thought. Once the car was parked at the dormitory, Drew took Lily to our room first, and then, as I had instructed, brought Kate there as well. Now he and I were standing and looking at them. They both slept peacefully, as if they had never even been moved from one place to another. "Where are you going to sleep? I thought this was yours and Lily's room, but you said to bring your friend here too." "I'll move Kate. It's my bed. We're used to sleeping together." "Have you fooled around with her?" "I could easily see it. 2 hot girls in one bed," Drew said, flashing a mischievous smile. "As if I'm going to tell you." I smiled back at him. "So I think I hit the nail on the head. Mind if I join you?" "Are you kidding? I don't like to share." I was teasing him, but I could tell that the atmosphere in the room shifted instantly. "You're beautiful. You know that, right? Your face in combination with your body. Damn, I can totally see why Logan is so interested in you." Drew didn't look confused or intimidated for letting it slip. He just shrugged his shoulders and stepped closer to me, placing his finger under my chin to raise my face. We were inches away. I felt hot. Drew was a handsome guy with soft features, blonde hair and deep brown eyes. He reminded me of Charlie Hunnam, but with an even more athletic body that only emphasized his masculinity. "Logan likes you, I can tell. He's my best friend. The deal is, he's too attached to Mel. He won't break up with her. But I also can't see him being able to keep his distance from you. He's always asking Lil about you, and I saw him a few times staring at you while you didn't notice us. And I think that you like him too. So in the end, you'll be the only heartbroken one if you let him get close to you. Thanks for the warning, but I think I'll manage. I've been able to avoid him for 2 months already, you know." "Did something happen between you two?" "No." "Really? Then why did you need to avoid him?" "It's not your business, Drew." "Did you sleep with him?" Drew asked, and traced his thumb over my lip. "No." Drew studied my face as he kept my chin in his hand. I licked my lips because I was nervous. He smiled, clearly noticing that gesture. "I want to kiss you. Will you let me do that?" I have a boyfriend, Drew. He's a nice guy from my class." "Boyfriend, right. Boyfriend with whom I want to break up. Nice try. I don't kiss and tell. No one needs to know, if you don't want them to." He kissed the corner of my lips. I stepped back from him, but he just stepped closer until I had retreated to the door. Drew pushed me against the door with his hips, and his hands were all over me. I was freaking out inside. I could feel his need as he pressed against my thigh. He was hard and big. I started to feel a sense of anticipation rise within me. Am I really going to have sex with the sluttiest guy at the college? Drew's reputation preceded him, and I wasn't sure I would be able to deal with the consequences. His phone buzzed in his pocket. "Drew, your phone." It was all I managed to say. My breath caught in my throat. "I don't care. Do you know a good place where we can take this? Because I'm afraid you won't be able to stay quiet. And your friends will hear your every moan." His kisses traced a line down my neck. Shit. If he continued like that, Kate and Lily might be awake in a few minutes. Suddenly, I remembered that Nina had left to visit her parents. Kate's room was now empty. Did I want to take Drew there? Who was I kidding? I wanted it. And badly. "We can go to Kate's room. I have a key," I murmured to Drew, as his hands were already unzipping my shorts. He stopped, looking at me with his usual smirk. "Lead the way, then." I took his hand in mine and led him out of the room. All my rational thoughts were flying out the window, but I didn't care. As we reached the other room, Drew's phone started ringing again. I waved at him, making it clear that he might need to answer. He cursed but took out his phone. He had a frown on his face, but didn't answer right away. Who could it be? I unlocked the door with the key that Kate and Nina had given me. I sensed Drew's presence behind me as he stepped inside the room and closed the door. I threw him the key, and he locked the door from the inside. We stared at each other while he pressed the phone to his ear. "Hey, man, what's up?" Drew said, still studying me. He licked his lips, listening. "Yes, they're at the dorm. I gave them a ride. Yeah, she is too." Drew stepped toward me and pulled me closer to him by my waist. "What about her?" "Good. Yeah, man. Fuck her hard. She deserves it. No excuses after what she did at the party. She doesn't even deserve a good rough fuck. She needs to be disciplined." If I had my doubts before, now I was sure. Drew was talking to Logan, and he wasn't alone. He had found Melanie. A pang of jealousy stabbed my heart. My whole body stiffened, and Drew felt it. "Dude, I need to get going. Talk to you later. Fuck your girl." He ended the call, silenced his phone, and threw it on the bedside table. His eyes traveled over my body, up and down. I couldn't resist him. I was a goner already. "Now you understand what I meant about Logan's obsession with Melanie. He will break your heart. She will always be there. Are you still up for my idea? I could easily set your mind free from memories about—" "Shut up already," I commanded him, and captured his mouth with mine. Our kiss was deep and passionate from the first second. We kissed more. His tongue pushed its way inside my mouth. We teased each other, our tongues intertwined. He smelled pleasant and intoxicating. He wasn't Logan, the one who gave me goosebumps by just looking at me, but I felt hot and desirable in Drew's arms. Abruptly, he stopped our kiss and looked me over. "I was wondering, why do you have his bomber jacket? Why did Logan give it to you?" Drew's hands were still on my waist, not allowing me to move. "Because of this," I replied. I removed Logan's jacket and stood in my thin white t-shirt before Drew's eyes. My breasts were round and full, while my nipples were hard from anticipation and desire. Drew gulped and reached with his hands to take my t-shirt off over my head. I did the same to him. I pressed myself against him, and now we were standing chest to chest. The heat from our bodies was almost suffocating. We locked eyes. The only thing on my mind was how much I craved this kind of touch, a touch that was full of hunger and need. Drew lifted me by my butt, and I wrapped my legs around his hips. I pressed myself tighter against him. I didn't want anything, especially clothes, between us. Our kiss deepened as he took a few steps toward the bed, then gently laid me down. I stayed still, gazing into his eyes, trying to read his thoughts, but all I saw was an undeniable magnetic longing. He moved between my legs and slowly unzipped my shorts. One by one, the layers fell away, clothes landing in a soft pile on the floor. His hands trailed fire along my skin, from my breasts down my abdomen, leaving kisses in their wake. Every nerve in my body was charged. "Drew, please." I moaned his name, breathless. He grinned, wickedly confident. "Patience. Beautiful." What came next was all heat, tension, and need. A collision of aching hearts in a tangle of sheets and whispered names. And in the silence that followed, I lay there, heart still racing, trying to piece together what this meant and why Logan still hadn't left my mind. Just from the way he looked at me, I felt a wave of intimidation, but also heat. There was no denying Drew's confidence, and I felt my body respond instantly, caught in a haze of anticipation and desire. He leaned in again, and everything between us ignited. What followed was not gentle, but intense. There was urgency in every movement, every breath. He moved with practiced rhythm, pushing me toward a peak I hadn't expected. I matched him, move for move, holding nothing back. No thoughts, no guilt, just the wild, reckless satisfaction of the moment. The air was filled with gasps and moans, his and mine, as we lost ourselves in one another. I clung to him, to the sensation, to the way it drowned out everything else in my mind. When it was over, we lay breathless, side by side on Kate's bed, naked, skin still warm from the aftershocks. Neither of us spoke right away. The silence wasn't awkward, it just lingered. Drew eventually turned to me, tracing lazy circles on my hip. I stared at the ceiling, unsure of what this meant, what I'd just done. But for the first time in a long while, I felt completely emptied of longing. And yet, my thoughts still found a way to drift back to Logan. Even here, even now, we kissed, teased, and licked every sensitive spot on each other. It was absolute bliss. When Drew finally left the room at 8 a.m., I was exhausted, but in the most satisfying way. We had sex more than twice, with barely any rest between, and each time we both reached our climax. Honestly, I was surprised I could still walk after all of that. The memory of our time together flashed through my mind, sending tingles across my skin. Drew had insisted on adding his number to my phone. Laughing, he told me he could easily be my booty call whenever I was in need. I had pulled him toward me. I was still naked while he was already dressed, and pressed my body against his. I kissed him hard, biting his lower lip. "Holy fuck, Becca," he groaned. "You'll be the death of me. You told me to leave, and now you're doing this? That's not fair, beautiful." His hands slid over my body, and I felt him grow hard through his jeans. I stepped back with a mischievous smile. "Sorry, Drew. I got caught up in the moment." He chuckled, completely unfazed. "Call me when you want to repeat this. Or just call me. I know I left a pretty good impression." "Not sure," I said teasingly, tapping my finger on my lips. He laughed and gave me a playful smack on the butt. "You're a little minx. If I didn't have afternoon practice, I'd scoop you up and bring you to my place. My bed's way more comfortable." "You should go, Drew. You need sleep before your practice, and I need to clean up the mess we made. This isn't even my room. I don't want my friends to find out I used their spare key. Or their bed." "Fine," he sighed. He kissed me again and walked out, finally leaving me alone. I leaned against the closed door with a long sigh. What the hell was I thinking? The sex was amazing. Hell, even Drew was amazing. Gentle, attentive, and caring, yet rough exactly when I needed him to be. But he was also the most infamous playboy in our college. And then there was Rob. Shit. I had just cheated on my boyfriend, with Drew. I was in deep, and I had no idea how I'd get out of it. The guilt already twisted in my stomach. And then Logan. Just thinking about him made my chest ache in ways I didn't want to admit. What would Logan say if he ever found out? Would he care? Why do I even care if he cares? I shook my head, trying to clear my thoughts. I needed to clean up, not just the room, but my mind. Kate and Lily might wake up soon, and there I was, still naked in Kate's room, with her sheets tangled and damp. I threw my clothes back on and started cleaning, hoping, desperately, that it would help me pull myself together. I fell asleep on Kate's freshly made bed, but before that, I had tossed her used sheets into the laundry. I must have been completely knocked out, because the next time I opened my eyes, it was already around noon, and my phone was ringing on the bedside table. "Hello?" I answered groggily, eyes still shut. "Becca, where are you?" Kate's voice came through, hoarse and dry. "In your room." She didn't say anything else, just hung up. I got out of bed and walked across the hall to my own room. Kate and Lily were sitting on my bed, both looking pale and completely drained. I couldn't help but laugh at the sight of them. "Wow, you both sure know how to spend a night." "Shut up, Becca," Lily groaned, massaging her temples. Okay. How about breakfast?" "We're in," Kate said. "We were actually waiting for you for that. Can you drive us to the diner?" "Sure. Let's go." I was about to head out when I remembered I still had on yesterday's clothes. "Actually, give me a second to change." "Yeah," Kate replied, eyeing me curiously as I walked over to the closet. I pulled out a simple navy blue dress and slipped into a pair of flats. Once I was ready, we all left together. About 15 minutes later, we were seated at the local diner, waiting for our order. Kate sat beside me, while Lily sat across the table. I kept silent, unsure if I wanted to bring up anything from the night before, but I knew it was coming. "Becca," Lily finally asked, her voice quiet, "can you tell us how we ended up back at our dorm?" That I could tell. I was with Rob when your brother showed up. He asked me to come with him and look after you. When we arrived, I found both of you asleep. Drew and Tim helped me carry you to the car, and then Drew drove us back to the dorm. He brought both of you into our room. You didn't even wake up through any of it, so I decided to sleep in Kate's room since Nina was with her parents. My asshole brother didn't help you. Where did he go? Why was it Drew who brought us to the dorm? Lily asked, her voice rising. Logan left to find Melanie. I told him to. I knew I could manage, I said calmly. Fucking idiot. Good to know that he doesn't care about me at all. Lil, that's not true. He came to me because he knew I would help you. No. His bitch showed up yesterday, and she started saying really nasty things about you. Me? What the fuck? I wasn't even there, I snapped, my eyebrows rising. We were talking about our plans for next weekend, after the game, Lily continued. I mentioned you a few times. I said I was hoping you'd come with us to the party at least. And? The bitch said it wouldn't be such a loss if you weren't there. She also commented on your bad taste in men. She saw you with Rob. I honestly don't remember what else she was saying. I slapped her. You did what? Are you crazy? Your brother is dating her. I don't care. She slapped me in return. Guess what my brother did? He yelled at me. He didn't even say a word to her, only to me. Lily's voice cracked with emotion. So, I just decided to get drunk. But I clashed with that bitch again, and Kate pulled her hair and yelled at her. The guys took us to different rooms, and I think that was the moment when Logan decided to bring you into this mess. Hell. I don't know what to say, I sighed, shaking my head. But I know your brother cares about you, Lil. He called Drew while Drew was still in our room. Why did he even leave to find Melanie? Kate asked, brows furrowed. She was in the house when Tim and Drew took us to the other rooms. Because she left the house after Logan decided to come for me, I answered, and she was furious because of his decision. We fell silent and continued eating. Then my phone buzzed. Who is it? Kate asked, glancing at my phone. Rob, I replied. Oh, did he do that? She pointed at something on my neck. Do what? The hickey, she said, raising her brows. Holy shit. I'm going to kill Drew. But I could never tell Kate and Lily who really did it. I was scared they'd think I was a whore. Yeah, I stammered. Oh, my little Rebecca, Kate teased. I'm so happy for you. You decided to take your relationship to the next level? Don't be so happy, I muttered. I want to break up with him. What? Lily and Kate said at the same time, shocked. Yes, we don't really click. And when Logan showed up, Rob acted like such a jealous jerk. Well, if you think that's the right decision, then okay, Kate said softly. I nodded and began typing a message to Rob. He responded almost immediately. We agreed to meet in the parking lot in 2 hours. I felt nervous. Rob was a good guy, and at one point I really started to like him. But I had been wrong from the very beginning. I only ever saw him as a friend. 2 hours later, I was sitting on the bench outside our dorm, waiting for Rob. He walked up slowly from the parking lot, his hands shoved deep in his pockets, looking tense. Hey, he said. Hey. We both fell silent. I didn't know how to start. Guilt twisted in my stomach, not just because I had slept with Drew, but because Rob didn't deserve to be dragged along in something that wasn't real. I needed to break up with him, not because I cheated, but because it was the right thing to do. You know, Becca, he finally spoke, from the very beginning, I always thought I didn't deserve you, like you were out of my league. And when you said yes to a date, I was so damn happy. He paused, eyes on the ground. But this feeling, this gut feeling that you'd leave me someday, it's always been there. So no, I'm not surprised by your decision. I'm so sorry, Rob, I said softly. Don't be, he replied with a strained smile. I hope you'll still be my friend. I want you to stay in my life. Of course. I'd be happy if you still wanted me as a friend. We looked at each other for a moment. Then I stood up from the bench and stepped closer. I wrapped my arms around him. He hugged me back tightly, and we stayed like that for several quiet moments. I kissed him gently on the cheek before stepping away. Rob smiled, gave a small wave, and turned to walk toward the parking lot. Within 2 minutes, he was gone. I sighed, turning back toward the dorm. As I approached our room, I heard raised voices coming from inside. What the hell was going on now? I opened the door, and my eyes widened in surprise. Logan and Lily were standing there, yelling at one another. I couldn't even make out what they were shouting. I didn't know what to do. Should I stay or should I leave? Lily's eyes snapped at me. She threw her hands in the air and stormed out of the room. Logan kicked the bed with his foot and collapsed on it. He sat in a crouched position with his head in his hands. An unknown force propelled me to close the door and walk toward him. I stopped before him and placed my hands on the top of his head. I felt how he relaxed under my touch. I ran my hands through his hair, massaging his scalp. Logan reached his hands out to pull me to him. I was standing between his legs, his hands on the small of my back, his head pressed to my stomach. We stayed like that for several minutes. Logan sighed and leaned back, pulling me into his lap. I sat there with my hands around his neck. He buried his face in my hair. His hands held my waist. It felt natural. We felt natural. "What is it with you?" Logan began. "I know almost nothing about you, and still, I want to be near you, to touch you, to talk to you about anything, to see that beautiful smile of yours. I can't even control it. When you're in the room, my eyes are always on you. You were avoiding me, I could tell. But whenever I caught sight of you in the hallways, I wanted to follow you," Logan whispered, and I felt butterflies in my stomach because of our proximity. "I don't know what it is, but it's the same with me," I said. "When I look at you, the only thought on my mind is that I want to be with you. Only your eyes on me would send shivers down my spine. I was avoiding you, yes. I asked Lily to give me warnings whenever you wanted to see her. It was too much. After what happened in the bathroom, and then at the diner." Logan stiffened. "What did I do wrong?" He gently placed me on the bed, his hands dropped from my waist, and then he stood up. I looked up into his eyes. He was avoiding my gaze. "What's wrong? Did I say something stupid?" "No, I am sorry. I shouldn't tell you any of this. Fucking hell. You don't deserve to be treated like this. I feel something for you. I can't explain it, but I love Melanie. I really do. What I did with you at the fraternity house was the biggest mistake of my life." My breath caught in my throat, and I clenched the sheets with my fists. My eyes were wide open, and I didn't even blink. I won't cry in front of him. "I am so sorry. You need to understand that no matter what it is between us, no matter how hard I want you, no matter how strong my desire to kiss you right now is, I won't do it. I have a girlfriend, I love her, and she doesn't deserve this. She's the only one for me. I am sorry." He stepped closer to me. I flinched. He saw it and stopped. His eyes were dark and sad. I think you should leave, Logan. And please, don't try to talk to me or see me. I was perfectly fine avoiding you, and I will continue to do just that. You should go and be with Melanie. If she's the one for you, she's the one who should comfort you right now. Not me. Leave, Logan. Please. "Becca, I said leave. Please." I failed. My tears were blurring my vision. Logan stood before me. He had no idea what to do. "Please, Logan." I heard him cursing, and then he left the room. I lay on my bed, my face buried in the pillow. I was crying, and I didn't know when it would stop. I fell asleep, and when I woke up, it was already 9 p.m. What was I going to do tonight? I had no idea. I sat up on the bed and saw Lily. She was sitting on her bed watching something on the MacBook on her lap. "Hey, Lil." "Hey." I returned to the room, and you were already asleep. Kate stopped by, but she didn't want to wake you. Lily studied my face. "Were you crying?" "Your eyes are puffy." "A little." I shrugged my shoulders. "How was Rob?" "Was he angry?" He was sad, and so was I. I really like him, and I hated doing this to him. But it's better this way. I'm sorry. Rob is a nice guy, and I find him really attractive. I even wanted to get to know him better, until I found out that he was interested in you. But honestly, you didn't look like a couple to me from the very beginning. Becca, did my brother say something to you? I tensed. I was trying to erase my conversation with Logan from my head. Tears were pricking my eyes again. Shit. I shook my head from side to side. What happened? Did the asshole hurt you? No, he didn't. I stuttered as tears poured from my eyes. What aren't you telling me? She came and sat beside me. Lily hugged me and started running her hands up and down my back. It's nothing, really. I needed to come up with something. Why was I crying? How could I explain it to her? I felt sad because of Rob. And Logan started telling me how much he loves Melanie. That's bullshit. What's going on, really? I was surprised that he came after you last night. He could deal with Kate and me with Drew and Tim's help. But he brought you. Come to think about it. He's always too curious about you. Is there something between you and Logan? Lily was too observant. I couldn't lie to her, not after what Logan had said to me. I like him. It's strange, and I don't even know how to describe it. It's kind of uncontrollable. He gives me goosebumps anytime he's near me. And apparently, it's mutual. He likes me. He told me that today, but oh God, this is stupid and humiliating. I hid my face in my palms. After you left, I walked up to him and I wanted to comfort him, I continued. Logan let me do that. He pulled me onto his lap and we sat like that for several minutes. He confessed that he's attracted to me. I confessed the same to him too. Shit. It was hard to breathe. Tears choked me. I sighed and closed my eyes. After that, he said how much he loves Melanie, that she's the one for him. And I am not. It doesn't matter how attracted he is to me or how badly he wants me. She's it for him, and I am not enough. Lily was silent. She sat beside me, her hands leaving my back a long time ago. I wiped my tears away and looked at her. I am so sorry that I lied to you. These feelings were too confusing. I was scared and tried to avoid him, and I was good at it. I intend to do the same from now on. I was embarrassed after he told me about his feelings for Melanie, and it hurt like hell. It's okay, Becca. You know, honestly, I don't understand how my brother could be with someone like her. He wasn't like that in high school. Bitches were never his thing. Drew's. Yes, but not his... Lil, you don't need to explain this to me. I get it. He's taken, and that is the most important detail. I don't know what I was expecting and why my hopes were up. Can we forget about it? If you want to. Thank you. Ahem. How long have you known Drew? He's Logan's childhood friend. I have known him forever. I even was in love with him. She smiled at me. You were? Well, he's gorgeous and sexy with all those muscles. Can you blame me for that? Lily laughed. I suppose not. I smiled at her. He's hot. Yeah. We both stared at each other. Did something happen between you and Drew? What? No. I just had a chance to talk to him a little, and he turned out to be different than I thought he was, I protested, a little too much. Well, under his demeanor, Drew's a good guy. Womanizer, yes. But he's honest, Lily said. I thought that maybe I could change him. We even dated for about 1 week in his last year of high school. And it didn't work. I'm attracted to his looks, but I definitely don't want to be in a relationship with him. We sat in silence. Then our door swung open and Kate was standing there with a frown on her face. She stormed into our room, plopped herself on Lily's bed, and sighed. What? Both Lily and I asked in unison. I don't know. Tomorrow is Monday, and I want it to be Friday. I want to go to the game and then to the after party. Tim texted me. He was worried about me. Can you believe it? Lily and I started laughing. It was a good feeling after this whirlwind of sad emotions. We talked and then watched a movie together. We finally called it a night, around 1 a.m. When I drifted off to sleep, I was hopeful that maybe a new week would bring something good to me. On Monday, Rob acted surprisingly sweet, and I felt very comfortable around him. I was glad that there wasn't any awkwardness between us. He had become one of my few friends here. Lily started hanging out with him, and I caught them flirting with each other a few times throughout the week. Kate was exchanging texts with Tim whenever he wasn't busy with practices. I didn't see Logan at all, but his girlfriend was always in my way, throwing me looks full of hate. I kept wondering what her problem with me was. She looked like a doll. One of the most gorgeous men on campus was hers. She had a horde of friends. So why did she have this sudden interest in me? To hell with her and her boyfriend. They deserved each other. The most surprising thing happened to me on Monday evening.